Hey, Michael, what's going on, buddy? How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing great. I am so happy we got to schedule this a little quicker. I'm sorry there was like a weird miscommunication yesterday. It happens quite often. Um, but I'm glad we had time to do this today. Yeah, dude. I mean, listen, like you're having a time in this program. I've done a little bit of my homework and it's really awesome to see. So I was really excited to do this interview with you. And Serena was like, no, he's your guy. Like you want to interview a student, this is it. This is the guy. I was like,
I'm
okay.
good. Yeah, I love Serena. She's awesome.
Yeah, I would say like she is the girl that I get along with the most on the staff side. It's just our East Coast energy. I don't know what it is, but we're no frills kind of people.
Hey, woman after my own heart. I get it.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm definitely excited to kind of chat with you today. What I'll do is I'll ask you just a few questions, nothing super complicated. I just want to hear about you, your background, your experience. Um, I love doing these interviews because again, like I've met a few of you guys like on our group support calls, but it's really cool to hear a lot of the students' stories and me and Serena both being coaches in this industry who have built our businesses literally from the ground up, just like you guys. I think it's great for other aspiring coaches to hear what you guys have to say. Because I've done a few of these interviews already, and I think the common thread that I've heard is, oh no, y'all are super transparent with like what we actually have to do. There's
Yeah, absolutely.
so and so I think that that is just such a positive reality check, and I'm definitely stoked to talk. So you ready to dive in?
Absolutely. Let's do it.
So okay, I'm like editing and cutting this thing, so I'm going to introduce myself so that obviously people know who I am and I'm not some random face. And then we'll just dive right into it. So okay, cool. All right,
Okay.
guys, my name is Jackie Nguyen, and I'm one of the one-on-one coaches here with NLCA. I'm just super stoked to talk to our student Michael, who's been in the program for, I believe, about 5 months now. Is that correct? 5 months?
Yes.
Time flies when you're having fun, doesn't it?
Whatever. Yep.
But no, and I'm really excited to kind of chit chat with you today. And I really just wanted to start off by just highlighting you and your background. So I would love for you to just take a moment to introduce yourself and just tell us a little bit about your background before actually joining NLCA.
Okay. Well, my name is Mike Neuendorf. I live in Omaha, Nebraska. I've been in the fitness industry on the competitive side for a lot of years since my early 20s. I was involved in competitive weightlifting, and then I kind of departed from that and got into competitive bodybuilding. And over the course of that time, I mean, I've been working out and training and dieting since I was about 13. So I accrued a ton of knowledge with regards to the subject and training and how to diet, and it was all just for my own selfish, like I wanted to get better as an athlete. And it kind of started here maybe 4 or 5 years ago. Just people would approach me and be like, "Oh, hey man, what are you doing?" Like, so it kind of just started like I would just kind of help my friends out. Like people come up like, "Oh, like yeah, here's an idea of the stuff you should be eating. Here's an idea." And then I discovered that this was something I'm really passionate about, and that this is some like see like knowing that I played a role in someone else's success was just as fulfilling as my own success. So I knew this was what I wanted to do, and I just didn't have an avenue. I didn't know how to make this thing work. How do I build a viable business with this passion that I have and this knowledge that I've accrued over, the course of my life? I have a lot of it. I just don't know how to market it
Mhm.
and how to spin my passion into a business. So, um, luckily, there was a trainer here in the Omaha area that was an NLCA grad, and I just like the kind of stars aligned, and I heard that because I saw his business really take off, and he was just coaching at a gym, and then all of a sudden he's departing and doing this whole other thing. So I was like, okay, there has to be something that he did. What did he do? So then I got in contact with him and I was like, bro, how did you pull this off? And he's like, I, so he set me up with a sales call, and yeah, I had a sales call. I talked with you guys, and I was like, yeah, this is going to be what is this is the path. This is going to show me the roadmap to how to make this work.
Your story is so much like mine. It's hysterical. Like, also being a professional bodybuilder myself, I was also referred to NLCA through someone that I knew very well and I trusted a lot. And so, just kind of like seeing how that whole domino effect happens. And I agree. It's, it almost feels like you have this responsibility to share this, like, honestly, this power that you have, because if there's anything that we know, especially being in the fitness industry, the world just struggles with, I feel like this is one of the most common things that people just feel so imprisoned by, and
Absolutely.
they don't have a way out. And it's like, we have like the secret to happiness and control and all these things. And I love hearing that you were just like, I need to do something with this information. Like, I
Right.
can't.
I had, yeah, the first few guys, I had um one of my buddies. It was just a friend I had at work, and he was a very skinny guy. He weighed like 130 pounds, and I kind of just mentored him, just to kind of as a friend, and then
Yeah.
watched him, you know, turn into the 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 body that he wanted, that he had always wanted. He always wanted to be a big muscular guy, and I showed him how, and he did it. And I was like, God, there's so many men out there that like they don't, and people in general, I've been one of myself at certain points in my life where you look in the mirror and you don't like it. And
Mhm. Yeah.
the knowledge of how to manipulate that and how to elicit a response out of your body
Yeah.
is one of the most empowering things that I've ever done in my life. And that's something that so many people are really imprisoned by. They don't like the way they look, they don't like the way they feel, but they have no idea how to change it.
Yeah, exactly.
I
We
know
have,
that. So
yeah.
it's my duty, like not only just like as a coach or, as a business owner, but as a human, if you have skills and you don't pass it on, you're missing your calling.
Yeah, 100%, especially in this industry. And I'm so curious, like, as far as, what your career is now outside of the fitness industry, right? Like, where do you bring in your income and your revenue? Like,
So I
business.
I am a staff sergeant with the Nebraska Department of Corrections. I
Mhm.
work in a maximum security men's prison, and I've been doing that coming up on 10 years.
Oh, wow. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
No,
Do you feel
I mean,
like, I'm sure it has its moments.
right.
Um,
A lot of times it's not that awesome.
Yeah. But I mean, clearly you're in the field of just trying to like give to the community in some way. Like there's just a connection there. And it's interesting to know that like you making this type of change in your career, like obviously like what were maybe some of the challenges that you were kind of facing without having your own business to look forward to or having something to build? Like what were some of those bigger challenges that you were facing, like just having this career and missing out on that?
Oh man. Well, so there's a strong correlation between um I work in prison and I'm still in prison. I'm still locked in prison. When I go through the gates, they still clank behind me and they lock.
Mm,
And um, there's kind of a joke, like, people that work in my line of work, it's like, yeah, I'm doing time too. I just do mine 12 hours at a time. I go home in between shifts. And that's true. It's that atmosphere. I mean, people that do a career in this line of work, Our average lifespan is 57, and the rate of alcoholism and suicide and all that is tremendously high because there's an aspect to my work that you could die at work. They can kill
Mhm.
you. And that's something that even after you've become accustomed to that knowledge, that it's still an anxiety that is with you all the time. And it eats away at you and it starts to degenerate your mind. And you start, yeah, that's why a lot of guys that work in law enforcement drink, they do unhealthy things because they have to cope and because
Right.
the job is tremendously stressful. And I do make good money doing it. And I have benefits and I have health insurance and I have a retirement, but it's not something I felt imprisoned by the job,
Mhm.
unintended. I felt imprisoned
Oh,
by
that makes a ton of sense, and I think that obviously people who aren't in your position forget about that so easily, that there is so much at risk for your mental health and obviously for your actual life, and so I feel like this transition for you and, like, adding this to your plate in such a positive way just, like, gives you this fulfillment in work that you do. It's just a different type of help, but it's something that you feel more free with and actually
that.
not imprisoned with, which I think is awesome, and clearly you're thriving with it because it must be aligning with you pretty well.
Yeah.
So, must be doing pretty good. Um, but when you actually decided to kind of work with NLCA, I'd love to hear a little bit more about, like, what were you really hoping to achieve in this program? What were the things that you really wanted to make sure you locked in with this big transition?
For me, when I first came into it, because I mean, I'm a bodybuilder. Like I said, I have a coach. I know how that thing works.
Mhm.
How to write diets. I know how to, you know, write training programs. I know how to do these things. What I didn't know, what I needed desperately was systems. I needed systems. I had no idea how to create a business. I had no idea how to set up a payment system that actually works and is functioning. I had no idea how to, do all these little things that like streamline it and make it
Mhm.
an actual business instead of just like helping out my buddies. So that was a big thing I was looking at. Like, okay, this company is going to teach me how to take this from just kind of a side hustle
Mhm.
to a actual business. I need the business systems. I need, a business bank account, like all these things that go into like when it's a side hustle, you're just not doing.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah.
that's the stuff that I really needed, and that's the stuff that NLCA really came through because yeah, it seemed like, you know, overnight it was like, okay, like the first, as you can remember, like I'm sure the first 3 months is like you're just thrown into the into the pool and like,
Yeah.
okay, I gotta do this and this and this and this. I gotta get this. And it's like, but after you have all that stuff set up, like now at the point I'm in with like I'm at month 5. I have it like everything is super streamlined. I set up my calls. I do my all my data tracking. I set up the calls. I close the calls. I have the whole system down. I send them the
Yeah.
info. I get the billing. I everything's easy now. Like
Mhm.
I signed a client last night, and it took me like yeah from the start to I had already accepted first payment was like 30 minutes.
Yeah, it's amazing. Like, and it helps you kind of not only just like stay calm and collected throughout, like, kind of taking on a big task of literally being an entrepreneur, which we know you have to wear so many different hats. But when you have systems that are in place and they're not being jumbled around, we're not winging it all the time. Like, we're relying on streamlined systems that help you actually grow and scale, then it actually helps you win time back at the end of the day.
100%.
And that's what contributes so much to when you run your own business, you do have more freedom, right? Like, obviously, we have to put a lot of time and a lot of energy into giving back to our business every day. And there's that hustle mentality sometimes where you're like, you're just kind of thrown in and you got to wiggle your way out, right? But sometimes I think, like, because building a business is so scary sometimes and it's all uncharted territory, if you don't just go like all gas, no brakes, you're not going to really learn how to overcome the challenges that are going to come at you as a business owner, regardless of
Correct.
your talent in it. Right. So, no, I love that for you. I think that that's the perfect example of how you win time back. Right. And also how you create systems that you could then kind of clarify, like, as you scale and grow, if your goal is to scale to the point where you want to make enough income where you need staff or you need assistance, then you know how to train somebody on something, you've mastered it, or you could just clear up what you need to delegate, basically.
That's
And I think that's like the beauty of just like getting super organized in the beginning. But obviously, you were referred into Next Level Coaching Academy just like me. So it's not like you were really shopping around for a whole bunch of other places to go to kind of make this happen for you. So when you were on that call, like I'm really curious, like what like stood out for you where you were like, oh yeah, no, this is it. Like I feel like this is where I need to land and I'm just going to go all in.
um it was really, I mean, it was the way that the way he was describing, like, it was, I'd never talked with somebody who put things out there plainly
Mm.
with regard to this. Like, listen, is this what you want? Yes. Do you think that these things are going to help you get where you want to be?
Mm.
Yes. Check,
That's
check.
good.
So yeah, it's like, and when he, he was talking about things that, like, I was, like, um like contracting $10,000 a month, and like if you do that, like I remember one of the big things he said, like, there's a master coach program,
Mhm.
and I remember, and like I'm an ambitious guy, and I mean, sometimes I kind of like bite off more than I can chew, but I was like, in that call, I was like, I'm gonna do that. Like,
I believe it.
I was like, I was like, that, like, if I work really well if somebody sets a bar,
Yeah.
and just like it was exciting to talk to someone that
Mhm.
obviously was very successful in this industry, that that had a very clear vision. He was
Yeah.
like, just, it was like a finally seeing a light at the end of the tunnel. Like, I know that if I work with this guy and I join this company, that there is a pathway for me. Just knowing
Mhm.
that, like, yes, he understands and he's done it before and he's been successful with many people. And this guy right here, like this company right here, can give me exactly what I want. They have the pathway. All I have to do is just follow it.
Yeah. We give you the recipe, you have to cook the meal.
Right.
You
And I
know?
agree with that. Like, I mean, I was an athlete my whole life. If you call the plays, I'll execute. Like, just,
Yeah.
I need the plays. I need to know what to do.
And I think it's important, like when you do stuff like that, you also think in your head, well, what else do I have to lose? I have nothing to lose other than I just take a chance on myself and I learn a new skill. What a horrible situation to be in.
Yeah, the only thing for me that was, obviously, like, there's a financial investment involved.
Yeah.
At the particular time in my life when this all came to pass, it wasn't the greatest moment for me in my life and in my finances, but I was like, I thought to myself, like, this is one of those moments that is going to be a fork in the road in my life. And 10 years from now, I can either say, like, God, why was I scared? I
Yeah.
I could have put like put all my chips in and bet on myself, but I didn't. And
Yeah.
I would kill myself. I would beat myself up the rest of my life for that. So I was like, you know what? Even if I can't afford it that much right now, I'm going to do it. I'm going to push the chips in and let it be what it is. Like,
Yeah, I fully resonate. And it's funny because looking back on my life, I realized that anything I ever did that was really great was all a product of me taking a really big shot
oh
on my
yeah,
doing something scary. Even myself years ago, investing in this program myself. I love telling this story to students, by the way. I actually donated my eggs to be a student in the Coaching Academy. So like
that's
whenever
it.
everybody thinks that like we had it easy as the coaches, I'm like, no, we've sacrificed, like we've been there. So I remember that entire process. I was like, I'll be right there in 6 months. Just let me do this thing and like we'll go right into it.
Man,
So yeah, I love telling that story because everybody's like, did you really go that far? I'm like, I absolutely did. And here I am.
I
So,
had the exit I would have gave it
so there's this little me out there somewhere. Yes. But just as far as just your experience in the program so far, like these last 5 months, your experience with actually working with Coach Serena one-on-one, what would you say is kind of the most impactful strategy that you've learned during the program, or maybe any breakthroughs or aha moments that you actually had building this business so far?
Oh man, there's been so many. Um, First and foremost, like I couldn't have gotten more lucky with pairing me with Serena. That was that has made this program for me what it has been. And I would say that I can't imagine myself being as successful as I have been without having her. She really has made this program what it is, what it has been for me in my life. That we just immediately clicked, immediately jived. It was right away. I like, we could communicate really effectively. We both had the same brand of communication and, shit talking sometimes. But I needed somebody that could talk plainly with me and that would understand like me when I'm talking plainly, because the fact of the matter is I've worked in prison the last 10 years, and I have a certain way about me and the way I talk, and sometimes it's very matter of factly,
Yeah.
and that works great. And the one of the best things that she's done was, I always thought that like if I wanted to be marketable, I had
Mhm.
to act differently. Like, I mean, the only experience I had was with like these, the very popular fitness influencers on Instagram and stuff, and it's like some of them are very like, um, they look like they're acting. You know what I'm
Sure.
saying?
Yeah.
I thought like I'm just not that person. Like I'm not like an actor.
Hmm.
Have like this is just me, and this is just all I have is who I am.
Yeah.
I thought that I was gonna have to like put on the tap dance shoes and like like please buy my program.
Got it. Yeah.
But she was like, no, like you're a straight shooting motherfucker. Just be that. Lean into that.
Hmm.
And that was super like reassuring and cool for me, because I was like I don't I can call in my ideal client by
Hmm.
just being who I am.
Exactly.
They'll decide whether they want to work with me. And
Hmm.
that if you have to act and be something other than yourself, you can only keep up with that for so long. These people are going to see who you really are eventually. So whoever you are, lean into that. Like, yeah, and we came up with strategies like content ideas and strategies based upon who I am, not who I'm trying to be, if that makes sense.
I love that. And that's so true. And even in experiences to relate, the moment I started just being more of my authentic self was the more people connected with me. And I pulled in the people that like really wanted to commit to my vision. And that's exactly what you're going to find when you do that. And it's again, yeah, it's sustainable. Like you could be yourself forever, and it makes it
I'm
easier.
doing this or not, I'm going to be me forever either way.
Makes it a lot easier to show up consistently. And it also allows you to just trust yourself more and not worry about just trying to be someone else all the time, which I think that the fitness industry and the online coaching community definitely has a lot of different branches off of the tree trunk. And I think we're definitely spoon fed, just from that surface view, right? That person that's putting on the show.
Right.
But they might not be the most successful person, right? So,
Right. They just post a lot. It's
mhm.
it's the
Yeah.
um yeah, it was great to know that I can just market, and especially with like making content and stuff. Like
Mhm.
in the beginning that was very intimidating, because like I don't think I had ever posted something of myself talking.
Yeah.
I was just a gym bro. Like I posted pictures of me flexing and like me at competitions and stuff. Like there was no one got to see my personality. Like they just saw pictures of my physique and stuff. So it was super intimidating at first, but then she was just like, no, this is you. If you cuss sometimes, which I do, then
Oh
cuss.
yeah. Oh yeah. I've never let that go. I'm a Jersey girl and that's just how I talk. So that's what people get on my social media.
Right. And like just like when we watch people on YouTube or whatever, like people can tell what's real and what's not. Like
Yeah.
you can tell who's acting.
Mm-hmm.
And
100%. Yes, you
if I'm
can.
trying to run, like I'm not trying to be an entertainer, I'm trying to run a business.
Mhm.
So I need these people to trust me.
Mhm. Yeah.
Big part of trust is like, okay, you're portraying who you actually are.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm definitely really curious, like what, obviously you've grown your business from the ground up, right? And so I would love to hear like really where your business is at now and just like the things that you've noticed that have changed in your business since like day one versus now, and even how it's impacted your personal life and maybe all those things that you were telling me about, how, your day job kind of makes you feel and that stress and that heaviness. But even hearing about like how many clients you have and like where your revenue has gone since day one, like let's unpack that.
Okay. So when I first started, I had like two clients, I guess you could say. Like it was nothing. I was bringing in, I mean, I think I had grand total contracted like $400.
Mhm.
And as of last night, um, I'm up to $44,000.
For the year contracted.
Yeah.
That's amazing. No big deal. No big deal.
I mean,
That's
it's a little
awesome.
bit shy of like obviously like I wanted to contract 60 just to be like undeniable.
Yeah.
But I still got time, I have this month and I have I could have I'm gonna keep pushing and try to have 2 great months and push it as close to 60,000 as I can.
Wow. In
I
5 months
start
to go from 400 to 44,000. That's kind of amazing.
Yeah, it's been a whirlwind. It
Yeah.
really and um from clients, I mean, I like I said, I had those two that I was kind of like helping out and they were kind of paying me each month and I was kind of doing check-ins, but it was just like this super unorganized like bullshit that I
Mhm.
was doing. And I'm up to eight as of last night, it was eight. I have 18 clients.
Freaking go. That's amazing. Wow. You should be so freaking proud of yourself. And honestly, I'm sure like just like Serena is just like so proud of you too, because going through this process, again, like there's so many peaks and valleys. There's a lot you're learning about yourself and like just your overall character, and also just like the challenges of creating those systems and like building an actual running business. I
Mhm.
mean, that's a lot to go through in 5 months. And I think, probably your headspace also has a lot to do with it. Um, and that's what I'm so curious is like, just maybe like where your confidence was from day one versus now. Like, how has that changed or evolved?
It's much different. I mean, I don't think my confidence as like my knowledge base and
Mhm.
like I've kind of known this and like obviously in the last 5 months I've done a lot of developing and like I've really put my foot down on the gas as far as like taking in knowledge, coaching strategies, things like that. But the big thing was neat, like in another thing that Serena helped me tremendously on was understanding and knowing my value.
Yeah.
When the I was charging $150 a month before I started with NLCA for these two
Oh,
people.
yeah.
Because like I had no idea what I was worth. I didn't know what so I remember and there's been like two specific times where um Serena had to get like I would say blunt with me
Mhm.
and because we're pushing prices up and I was like this a little bit of imposter syndrome. I was like, am I worth this? Like
Right.
and she was like, well, if you don't think you're worth it, then how is anybody else going to think you're worth it? Of course
Right.
you're worth it. Like you you have been doing this for so long and you started this when you were 13. Like, you don't see the value in all the things you know because you've known them for so long. These people don't know anything. Like things that I thought were just common knowledge, like how are carbohydrates broke down in your body, and like how many, how you should set your macros up, or how to what to do when you go in the gym. Like, I take that for granted because I've been doing it for so long, but the vast majority of people have no idea what they're doing. So there's a tremendous amount of value. And when we would go, the confidence when we would go, bump the prices up, like I remember specifically when we went from the year long for my 12-month contract, going from, a little over 3,000 to 4,000. And I was like, ooh, okay. And she really helped me. Like, so when I got on those sales calls, I didn't, I sounded confident in what I was
Yeah.
charging.
Conviction makes a big difference. Again, she's totally right. It's like if you don't have conviction in your program, how is anybody else going to feel confident committing?
Right. Right.
At the end of the
And
day.
that when we bumped it up to, I mean, that was the month that I hit my 10K.
Mhm.
Because yeah, like I had this, kind of come to Jesus meeting with her about like my confidence with my pricing and stuff. And then I was
She's
just like,
so good at that.
I was like, okay, you know what? I'm just gonna throw it out there. Like, listen, bud, um, 12-month contracts, $4,000. How do you want to split that up?
Yeah.
And I just said it like it was a matter of fact, and like, this is what I'm worth, and this is what I charge, and this is what it's gonna be. And I got 3 year-long contracts in a month, and $12,000 later, it was like, okay, well, okay, I am worth it. This does work.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Gosh, that's so cool to hear. And just like honestly, that's exactly why I'm here and I do this with Serena. Like I love coaching you guys because I love seeing that you guys have what it takes to turn this into such a success. Um,
Mhm.
I'm so curious, like, I feel like you've learned a lot in 5 months. So, like, what advice would you give to someone who's kind of considering on doing the same thing with their life? Whether they want to completely leave their job and change everything about their career, or they're really just looking to figure out how to actually make a business out of this.
Okay. So first and foremost, I would tell them, if I was on a Zoom call with them and explaining to them the value, I'd say, A, of investing in yourself is never going to be a bad investment. It's never a bad investment. You can sit and watch your life roll by so easily, and so many people do, without ever taking a chance. And if this is something that you're considering, that's something that you want to do, or that you have a passion about for, and you just don't know how to make it work, just please invest in yourself. Please give it a shot, because worst case scenario, you know how to be an online fitness coach now. And that's something that you can take with you forever. Like, that's like, I was worried about the same thing when we were talking numbers on my sales call. I was like, man, that's a bit of money, but I it paid itself off in a month and a half. I had
Yeah.
already contracted more than the program was worth, and now I've contracted almost 5 times what the contract was worth,
Yeah.
what the program is worth. So it's at the end of the day, I would say, just be bold, take a chance on yourself, push the chips in,
Yeah.
um, and regardless, you'll never have to look back at this point in your life and say that you missed an opportunity.
I couldn't agree more. That was so perfectly said. And like even I mean again, I think it's honest to say that, Next Level Coaching Academy is not the only coaching company out there that wants to help fitness coaches become entrepreneurs, but like obviously if somebody's on the fence about joining up with NLCA specifically, it's like how would you describe NLCA to them to kind of help them make that commitment to themselves?
I would say, because I mean, I have Instagram too, and I'm in the fitness industry, so I get all the ads.
Yeah.
all the different coaching companies. You want to take, I can guarantee you 5 new clients in the next month. I mean, as you have, I'm sure you see those companies come through all the time.
All the time.
This is the real deal. This is not some kind of like, this is not a bullshit company. This is the amount of value you get and the amount of one-on-one. I mean, it's kind of incredible. Once I everything started rolling, I was like, Jesus, like, because it was a big financial commitment initially, but it's like, I have every single week I'm having 2 coaching calls, or I'm having a sales coaching, a business coaching. I have, all of this content, all of these modules that it's like from start to finish, it is going to show you in every aspect how to become a successful fitness coach. There's
Yeah.
nothing left out. There's nothing left to the imagination. It's really a blueprint, and it's not like a 2 week, 3 week, like, quick tips on how to do this. It's like, no, we're not trying to just show you how to like get a bunch of Instagram followers and, get quick 5 clients. Is like, this is a long game. How to create a sustainable business.
Yeah.
And it truly is. I mean, and I was skeptical about it at the beginning too, but in 6 months, I mean, I'm not even at my 6 months, and like I have a successful coaching business,
Yeah.
and I'm bringing in good revenue. And I mean, I'm already preparing myself to leave my corrections job.
That's
Uh,
amazing.
yeah, so it's like, the things that what would have taken me probably 5 years to get done, I've gotten done in 5 months,
Right. That's
because you get everything. I mean, like, how long would it have taken me before I realized that I really need to have a coaching agreement that's legally binding and that says the right things and that has the right wording in it? Hey,
right.
guess what? I got that. Like, there you go. Here's what I came up with. Just plug your business name in it and use this. This is great. Just
Mhm.
things like that. Like it. And I've talked to, and I've known people that have their own coaching business that have started, or their own gyms, and they've started and they had no guidance, no help, and it took years and
Yeah.
years and a lot of mistakes and a lot of costly financial mistakes to get
Mhm.
to where they're at. The NLCA just sidesteps all of those. It's it's like it's having a mentor, having somebody that has been down the line. They know all the
We've
trap.
made all those mistakes so that you guys don't have to.
So you don't have to. I mean, when you take out all the mistakes and setbacks,
Mm.
you can make this thing happen really quickly,
Mhm.
which is what the NLCA does. It
Yeah.
it streamlines it and removes all the guesswork and the possible mistakes and setbacks.
100%. And I agree completely. That's why I was a student. That's why I like dedicated my time to helping all the students here. And as like we learn as coaches, we teach you guys all of those small little nooks and crannies that we do in our individual businesses. And like we like to help in that area. And I think it's so exciting that you're like, I'm kind of ready to exit my job and like do this full time. And like what's next for you in your whole coaching journey? What are those next steps? Because I feel like you are literally right in there to master coach full time. Are you thinking of hiring? Like I would love to hear what's happening next for you.
I mean, my ultimate goal is just to obviously take over the world, I would say.
But
um,
I think you're gonna do it, actually.
we'll see. But I mean, I have a rough outline. I mean, I think um, obviously I want to grow my business. I want to grow it to the point where I have to have staff. I want to have, I mean, you're in the industry, like a Matt Jansen type,
Mm,
like the empire of coaching.
yeah.
I want to have a brand that is bigger than me. I want to have a brand name and a coaching company that is bigger than myself. Um, and I want to be able to impact the industry in a positive way. Whereas I think obviously there's a lot of people that um, impact the industry in kind of a more sleazy way, and that aren't really always looking out for the best interest of clients. And I want to be the true, like, real deal, honest advice coach in this industry. And I want to build my business around that. And I want to build my legacy around that in this industry.
Fucking go. I love that so much. You're definitely going to do it. You are on the path to even getting the $100,000 a year. Like I see six figures coming up pretty quickly.
Oh, yeah,
You as
guaranteed.
long like continue to push yourself, and we're just like so happy to be a part of this journey with you. And I loved being able to chat with you today, and just thank you so much for your time and sharing all of that, because I think a lot of people need to hear your story. I think they need to hear it because they might not believe in themselves. They might not know their worth. They might feel imprisoned and stuck in a situation. And I just love that you were able to just like share all of that with me today. So I appreciate you a ton. Thank you so much for hanging out with me and answering these questions.
Welcome. Absolutely. Thank you.
Absolutely. All right, buddy. Well, have an amazing rest of your day. Good luck with everything. And I'm sure I will see you in Master Coach very soon.
I'm sure you will too.
Bye. Have a good one.